Speaking of predictions possibly being vindicated, you had a show with Ross Coulthart.
Yeah.
He made a very bold, I don't want to say prediction, or it was like a statement essentially, that he knew unequivocally, without a doubt, that the Tic Tac, on which so many people rest their conviction when it comes to UFOs. Steven Spielberg will cite this Nimitz case in 2004 for his own, reopening of interest in UFOs. In 2004 with David Fravor, he said definitively that he knows that is Lockheed Martin technology.
He did even more definitive than that. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the last show I ever did with Ross, by the way, last Need to Know. And normally before a show, we would discuss not great detail, but we'd go, hey, what do you think about what we could do? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we could talk about, okay, let's go, right? It's so a little bit, but we didn't have time to do that or didn't do that on this episode. And during the visual part of the episode, you can see Ross looking off like he's looking at a monitor or something. And we're talking about other things, particularly the Chinese drone explanation, right? And then about 3/4 of the way in, he turns away and he goes, Bryce, I can now state, this is the quote, I can now state categorically that the Tic Tac is Lockheed Martin technology.
I'm going to leave you with one thought today, Bryce. I now know categorically that the Tic Tac is Lockheed Martin technology. Categorically.
Okay. And if you watch the video, you see me literally go, oh boy. I mean, I just literally, it shocked me.
And you think him looking off was sure looks like inbound communication confirming that
it looks
to him
to me that way, but I mean, he never said that was the case.
Whoa.
And then, so I kind of, first of all, that kind of violates the etiquette rules of co-hosting, to just sort of throw some, but that's okay. I mean, we're grown-ups. We did that all the time. We would sort of challenge each other, and that was fine. But then we talked for a little bit because I was trying to organize my thoughts, how to even respond to that. And then he said it again, and he said, I can now state categorically that the Tic Tac is Lockheed Martin technology. So the same exact words twice, right? And I mean, I haven't actually talked about this, but I will just say this. Afterwards, we got off the air and I said, that's such a shocking thing that you said. And I didn't have any time to prepare for it. I think we should do an immediate new show, and I should be able to talk to you and interview you about why you make that statement. And he said he wouldn't do it, and we stopped recording together.
Got it. Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah. But I mean, Ross remains a friend, but this was just a thing that happened, I mean, it's like, and listen, I'm not saying he might not be, I mean, he could be right. I mean, that's possible, but in the immediate aftermath at the time he said it, it did not feel right to me. It just felt like I have a hard time believing that the thing that
you always want to know,
described.
You always want to know how the person knows.
If you're going to tell me that, then you're a journalist. I mean, he's always talking about journalistic rigor, which I admire him for. He does have journalistic rigor. So
of course, you don't want to burn your sources.
And of course, he also talks about protecting sources. I'm all in favor of that.
But then it's kind of on the source as well. Like it's for something that categorical, where so many people's conviction in the whole UFO thing rests on that one case where you have FLIR data, confiscated radar, and a bunch of eyewitnesses. Right. All seem super matter of fact and credible. It's like you kind of have to give the audience something as to how you got there.
I think so.
And I'm saying this is a huge Ross Coulthart fan. I think he's done foundational reporting.
I was honored to work with him. Don't get me wrong. I learned a lot of stuff from him, and I wouldn't have been involved in the David Grush thing without Ross's, sponsorship into that little society. So I'm nothing but good things about that. But I do think if you're going to talk about journalistic rigor, what's good for the goose, good for the gander, as they say, right? So in other words, if that's your plan, then if you make a statement like that, then you got to defend it with journalistic rigor, not later having your producer ask you a question from somebody. You got to talk about it. I don't know what he would say about it right now. You should have him on and you should ask him.
I'd love to. I'd love to have him back. I had a great interview with him, and
Oh yeah.
It's
first of all, he's entertaining as hell.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know he has good sources.
Oh, he has great sources.
Right?
He's done like some. He's kind of the tip of the spear on the investigative side.
Absolutely.
Like he really like puts himself in harm's way to like get all sorts of crazy, interesting stories.
He's completely admirable in the way he does that.
And then it's interesting on the Nimitz thing. It's like the thing was flying in ways that like craft never could. Actually, I interviewed this like old, I guess, NSA director of research, this guy, Eric Hazeltine. And he was like, he brought this thing up. He was like, what if the object is massless, F equals ma, and so it could accelerate at those speeds and like break conservation of momentum if it was like a hologram or something. I was like, I hadn't really thought of that. And that's kind of this really important overlay of thinking about all these videos that are coming out where it's like, we don't really know that you're not like a VFX person. You don't know like the tip of the spear of advanced technology. And then I think some of that, so then you have to ask yourself, is part of what came out in that 2017 New York Times article, what were there American national security things that we could do that you want to call UFOs?
Right.
Alongside obviously a whole, treasure trove of data around like real anomalous UFOs.
Yeah.
Was there some intentional conflation made there? Or, do you just take at face value this like really inexplicable case that I cannot explain? And Nimitz, to me, seems really like, it's very hard to explain.
You blew my mind last night because you said to me that when you first heard him make that statement that you were like, no, I don't believe that. That seems not reasonable, but that you're now 50-50.
Now I'm kind of not 50-50 on Lockheed necessarily, but some, maybe
50-50
maybe it's most likely it would be Lockheed if they did, but 50-50 on man-made. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What changed your opinion over the time?
Yeah, it's a good question.